I'd like to welcome you to Be More News, where we uncover the truth. Hit 33rd and Greenmount for West Wednesday.
But you're asking questions about the boundaries of the 45th district. 5 levels of government. How many city council districts and all that stuff. Things that I know that a majority of the people that's running as candidates didn't have that answer. So we got to spat that out on the spot. So that was interesting. But when it's all said and done, I'm gonna let Gretchen talk about that a little bit. But it was interesting how that went down. And for me, how I felt is the fact that people got ready. They believe in what they wanted to do. They believe in the system. Well, we're not gonna say they don't believe in the system, but what they wanted to do was go through the process and make it known that whatever shenanigans that they had in store, it was going to be exposed by hook or by crook. You get there, and camera and media wasn't allowed. Now, that's the craziest stuff I ever heard of. This is a public interview. And you couldn't... Right.
Talking about the gag orders. He was for a comprehensive diesel. You might want to repeat it. He just showed up.
There was a sign. Yeah. Per Humana policy. No recording, no live streaming, no media. Now I saw that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's how. Oh, I'm sorry, you just came in. Okay, so this was for the interview for the vacant position of legislator, 45 district delegate, former delegate Cheryl Glynn's former seat. So that was the setup, and because you just got here. Those who were interested had to submit a resume, and they had to turn that in no later than January the 5th, 5 o'clock. So we went through that process, but the common denominator was we didn't get confirmation emails until either late the evening of, the evening before, less than 24 hours. So you're talking about between January the 12th to morning of January 13th, one of the candidates say she got it at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we know that it was designed to try to discourage us from even showing up. But they didn't know who they were working with. And they underestimate the anger and the frustration of the people.
Say it.
They underestimate the anger and the frustration of the people.
And our abilities to handle our business.
And we handle business, and the fact that we even organize and do what we need to do to show up, and whatever you're going to do, it's going to be exposed, because we had over 60% of the people in that room. They didn't come to play; they came to expose. Do what you want to do, but when it's said and done, we're going to let it be known just how disappointed we were, how embarrassing this was, and most importantly, the fact that you expected the people to go along with nepotism and cronyism.
Clicking.
Bro, it's a disgrace. And then you wonder why stuff is happening, how things are happening, why things are happening here. I mean, the level of violence and the corruption, and you're talking about the violence down on the ground. But hey, the fact that we got a low intensity conflict, warfare going on, you don't know who's bringing that heat.
That's right.
You don't even know that. Because when we see the corruption up top, and how everybody's being cliquish to try to protect their own, they may be caught up in it. That's why you got the fact that you got 5 candidates that didn't even file, can get on TV and tell a lie and talk about we got a crime plan. Fuck your crime plan. Fuck all of it. I told them I'm going to be a problem. If I had to show up the way I did Monday, put aside my time, go to a stupid interview, which I just purposely made up some, got the answers wrong, because I know this is dumb. This is going to be a problem. And it should be. We should be highly embarrassed and pissed off that this system that we have right now will put us through that, and we're supposed to go along with that. So yeah, and then and this thing about crime plan and corporations. So this is what we're dealing with. So for all we know, this whole shenanigans that we experienced on Monday is part of the plan to introduce and bring stuff here into our city. Don't think for a second while they're putting out here this narrative about how dangerous our city is that they're not checking for real estate. I got a text, and I hope somebody blow this number up from 1-202-751-3076. Some guy named Mike asking about my home. I got it. So whoever the Mike is, he's gonna get a whole bunch of texts.
He calling me. I thought it was just me, so every week I get a text. Like, they don't call me, hi, Tawanda, I'm interested about y'all. First of all, who the hell are y'all? Don't even respond. But yeah, I get a text every week, different text messages, and they calling my name.
So if this city is that terrible, it's that bad, it's that dangerous, then why are they doing this? So this is a low-level conflict, low-intensity conflict warfare. So they got us looking in one direction, and they're doing this, the part about the arson, the indiscriminate shooting. It got to the point now, it's like all of a sudden we went from Pookie and Ray Ray not knowing how to shoot and hitting innocent people to now skilled marksmen, headshots. Somebody sitting in a car and they just gonna pluck them off, or they're hitting them in areas where, like the downtown Royal Farms, really. That's some bold stuff. But we've seen this before. The guy that walking down the street and then go start shooting at people going into a hookah bar.
White guy, a mass shooting that the city covered up, and he's still covered up. Nobody heard about it.
So I'm gonna bring it back on in. So for all of these things that happen, and the district that I live in thought it not robbery to put people through a dog and pony show. To put a woman in where the only thing we know about is that she's related to somebody else that's already in office. Hell to the no! Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check! Mic check! Say it like you mean it! Mic check! Mic check!
Yeah, I don't know how I follow all of that, but yeah, so like Charlene said, so the final vote, so the way it works with the Central Committee is that we all had to interview. They asked us all the ridiculous questions to make us feel really dumb. They would not let the press in the room at the beginning. They had these signs on the doors that had Humanum's name on them saying no live streaming, like she was saying no press, no media allowed, saying this is Humanum's policy. Humanum said this is not our policy. We do not have a policy. And every other time the Central Committee has had a meeting at Humanum, they have allowed live streaming and media. This is the only time. And so in the period of time where Fern Shen from the Baltimore Brew was not allowed in the room is when Chanel Branch was interviewing. She was one of the interviews that was missed by the media. She was the first interview. She's also the district chair of the committee. So she was not allowed to be on the panel that was interviewing us, but she was allowed to vote. And the way that it works is there's 7 people who vote on this committee to fill the seats. And you're supposed to have a majority 4 votes to fill the seats. Chanel Branch was allowed to both interview and vote for herself. She cast the tie-breaking vote, and they didn't even go to a 4-person vote. The vote went 3-2-1-1. 3 votes for Chanel Branch, 2 votes for Kaylin Young, 1 for Marquise Kent, 1 for Tiffany Jones. And now Kaylin Young, he ran for this seat in the last election. He worked for the ACLU, he works for Brandon Scott now. From the people who are in the room, like, he knows his stuff and came across as the most qualified candidate. He came in 4th place in the last election for those 3 seats. So that alone would make him the most qualified in lieu of a special election to fill this seat. But you know what? He's not on the committee. He can't vote for himself. Chanel Branch is on the committee and was able to vote for herself.
Wow.
So that is what happened. And at this point, the Democratic Party in Maryland is doing nothing about this. It doesn't matter that they broke their bylaws by doing a 3-2 vote instead of the 4 vote. They're not doing anything about it right now. Right now, the only option is the governor could choose to veto the appointment. Because, yeah, that's the only option right now.
Yeah. Call him, turn up, make him do his job.
And I also saw words today that Kaylin Young is looking to take some legal action about this. He deserves that seat. He deserves that seat. So yes, if you want to reach out to your representatives, let them know that this is ridiculous, this is not democracy. You can let the governor know that he needs to veto the appointment. They need to do this over again. Mic check.
Mic check!
And I see my sister, she can come up here, but I just want to make a quick announcement. It's a sidebar. So when I was talking about all the corruption and all that stuff, I was just told, so we know about the Elite Gun Trace Task Force. Well, it's a movie's coming out, a documentary that's going to be hitting. It's called I Got a Monster, something along the lines, I Got a Monster. And I hope they put the details of Detective Cedar, who case is still not solved. Still not solved. We heard them talk about it. We ain't hearing nothing else from the commissioner. Or we looking into it. How long does that freaking take? We know Detective Cedar didn't kill himself. So I want y'all to look out for I Got a Monster. Then somebody told me they saw a little clip of me in that little documentary of West Wednesday. I'm like, okay. Mic check.
Mic check!
I just wanted to expound upon the Baltimore City Central Committee, Democratic, whatever the heck it's called. I just want you all to know that we all sat there for 3 hours. From 6 p.m. till past 9 p.m. while they pulled this crap. And there were a lot of really good candidates. There were some that, you know, we were like, wow. But anyway, I didn't know who Branch was. She wound up coming in the room and sitting behind me while they were deliberating. And she actually, when I actually thought that her daughter was someone else. And or whoever was with her, I don't know who the hell was with her, but I said something to her and she said, well, I didn't interview, she did. And then she got all indignant. And she was like, I don't know why all these people got a problem with me. Like she was just really getting really indignant. And I didn't even know who the hell she was. Because if I had, I wouldn't have even spoke to her because I have a beef with her dad. And I think we have 2 branches we need to cut off this government tree coming up if she gets the nomination. But what I want to say is that, after making us sit there for 3 hours, they literally broke their bylaws. But I did some research yesterday, and I was finding out that if everybody who is within my voice contacts Hogan and asks him to veto it, I don't think that he would have a problem with that. So just please get on internet, and there's like a form that you could fill out that automatically sends an email. You don't even got to sign into your email, and tell him to veto that. Or
veto.
You can
Spell veto.
V-E-T-O. Veto the nomination of Branch. Because, she's not very professional. And then, she was, while she was going off her rant, she said, I already brought in $3.2 million, blah, 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 because my son was killed, right? And I said, sorry for your loss. But then when I went and did further research, I found out that I don't know if it was she and a combination of her dad and other people, but they brought in $3.2 million for Safe Streets after his grandson was killed. Okay, Safe Streets needed that fucking money before his grandson was killed. Safe Streets still needs money before, after his grandson was killed. So why, does she think that automatically qualifies her for the seat? It's just a conflict of interest, it's nepotism, it's cronyism. So let's just nip this in the bud, tell Hogan to veto it, and demand that they go through this process over again in a fair and legal manner. That's it. Mic check.
Okay, I'm gonna get you next. But that part right there about Safe Streets and bringing in because his grandson, her son got murdered. Now, I know this is tragic, but I got little known fact, one of my great nephews, his father got murdered on that same block.
Wow.
And that happened in 2010. That house fire, that happened in 2010. Look it up. 3 people got killed. At first they thought it was a fire that killed them, the father, the mother, and their companion, but it was a murder. That companion was the father of my great nephew. So I grind for that block. I've been watching that. So now it took a prominent person, family to get killed.
Wow.
See, now that just triggered me.
That's terrible.
And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Even on Parliament movement, when we talk about how we could be more peaceful and we honor every life. But the fact that you can sit up here and say I brought in 3.2 million to have safe streets, and guess what? Yesterday we still had to show up because there was a murder in the area, and that's supposed to be safe streets control. So that was a waste of money as far as I'm concerned. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Now, Tawanda been fighting her fight for 7 years. I've been fighting mine for 13. I've been fighting my fight for 13 years. My son got killed in Chicago and they locked me up. They charged me with terrorism in Illinois and Maryland. The stuff that y'all talking about with Teller Branch and Glenn and all them, dog, I turned them in back in 2006. The gun task force I turned in 2010. Mosby been knowing about this since 2014. She went to St. Louis the other day talking about standing up for St. Louis. They doing the same stuff right here in Baltimore, and she the one that's shielding it. Wow. She is using her office to deny people access to the grand jury. Under Senate Bill 374, Tawanda could have been took her case to court, but she's the one blocking it. Wow. Am I lying? Senate Bill 374 is a law that says that you as a private citizen can access the grand jury. The only way you can access the grand jury, you got to go through Scott Schellenberger and Marilyn Mosby. Scott Schellenberger charged me with terrorism. I put a toilet in front of the courthouse because I be shitting on people. In 2020, I'm going to shit on a lot of people. If you are not right, I will put a toilet in front of your house, your job, your girlfriend house, your mama house. I don't care. I'm out $2.6 million because I was making a movie about y'all's politics. It's called Baltimore Rewired. When they sent them brothers to jail in 2006 for the drugs, remember that Stop Snitching video? I want to show the other side of the drug culture. I want to show how Judge Turnbull getting paid. I want to show you how Bobby Zirkin getting paid. I want to show you how these elected officials getting paid. I want to show you the criminal enterprise that Teller Branch is running with Glenn and Bobby Zirkin. Because see, we traded the penitentiary for the plantation, cotton for cocaine, and we the cash crop. You got a war on drugs, and the war on drugs ain't nothing but a war on the black community. You feel me? We traded the penitentiary for plantation and cotton for cocaine, and you picking up black people as a cash crop. Straight up. I named these politicians. I named these police. The person that killed Tawanda's brother got a new job down in Annapolis. He got a job in Annapolis. All right? They took me up off my feet last year in Annapolis, picked me up and threw me off the steps. He was there as a witness, all right? And I called him out. I called him out. Wherever I see you at is where I'm going to treat you in 2020. I don't need 1 million people to march. I need 1 million people to pay attention. Wherever I see Pugh at, Pugh is a witness. They just indicted Pugh. Mayor Pugh, Jack Young, Branch, the Maryland Black Caucus, they are the original people that have been selling out the black community for the last 20 years. They personally have been selling out the black community. When Governor O'Malley was in office in his last 6 months to a year, he went over to the Middle East. He went to Pakistan, India, and those places, and he started bringing brown money back here. That's when you got this brown people coming here with these ideas. You feel me? That's where you got this new brown money and new brown voters block. Aisha Khan is one of them. You feel me? We're going to show you about money laundering through these people, through the gas stations, through the Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody in Baltimore, and everybody know me. When I call your name out, believe that. Matter of fact, go to Fox 45 today and ask for the material I left in front of their building today. It was exposing Marilyn Mosby. It was exposing the Democratic Party. And if they got a problem with me, charge me with something and lock me up. I ain't scared of jail. They are. Jail ain't nothing but a vacation for a motherfucker like me. It ain't nothing but vacation for me. Because I done been there before. I ain't scared of jail. Only thing I'm scared of is God not loving me. And that day ain't came yet. Mic check!